Hey everybody, Chris Bumbray here again with a review of Bloodshot, an adaptation of the comic book series by Valiant Comics. In it, Vin Diesel plays a murdered soldier who is resurrected as an invincible assassin bent on avenging the murder of his wife at the hands of a terrorist played by Toby Kebbell. But is his mission as righteous as he thinks, or is he just a pawn in the hands of the scientist played by Pearce who resurrected him? I mean, honestly, what do you think? Vin Diesel's career outside of Fast and Furious has been interesting. Apparently a huge sci-fi junkie, this is one of multiple attempts by the star to craft himself a franchise outside of his usual cars and spies wheelhouse. While probably more palatable to his hardcore base than The Last Witch Hunter, Bloodshot still lacks the high style and oomph of something like the Fast and Furious movies, which, I have to say, suffered mightily from his absence in the abysmal Hobbs and Shaw. And, of course, it doesn't have the camp factor of the deliciously goofy XXX Return of Xander Cage. Sporting a $45 million budget, which likely wouldn't even pay for the catering on the newest Fast and Furious, Bloodshot is ultimately too derivative of other better films to work. While I have no familiarity with the comic book character, the central premise that a now unstoppable force wants revenge and is actually being used by the powers that be is more than a little reminiscent of RoboCop, although Diesel's character at least doesn't have to worry about being an unwieldy mix of man and machine. Rather, the machine part is limited to the nanobots that make up his blood, save for an unexpected wrinkle that occasionally turns his skin chalky white and his chest red, making him look, I suppose, a bit more like his comic book counterpart. Of course, his powers can't help but have more than a little in common with Deadpool. Given the budget, the film still has an impressive look with decent CGI, although many of the action scenes are a sloppy mess, with too frantic cutting, and the sound mix also seems to be chaotic, as if the studio turned down the dialogue to emphasize the action. Diesel, while undoubtedly iconic in the way that many contemporary action heroes aren't, also struggles to carry the film, although this can also be chalked up to the fact that he's used as a tool throughout and has very little of his own agency. He's being used, and what's worse, right from the start, we know he's being used. The action is repetitive, with Diesel inhaling bullets and reconstructing himself, rinse, repeat, over and over and over again. He's so invincible, we never for a second believe that anyone, especially Outlander Sam Heughan, who's built up as the big physical threat of the film as another modified soldier, can take him on. He has just too many advantages beyond the fact that, hey, he's Vin Diesel. The only one who manages to stand out a bit is Eiza González as another one of the modified soldiers he set up with and eventually against, although we never really learn much about her other than the fact that she was a diver and has been augmented by getting the ability to breathe underwater, which, amazingly, never factors into any of the action scenes. New Girl's Lamorne Morris, spotting a fake English accent, is the comic relief, but is introduced over an hour into the film and feels like a tacked-on presence, as if they knew the film needed some levity. Pearce also feels badly miscast as the big bad, with him far more suited to hero roles thanks to the fact that he never chews scenery. That's commendable, but this isn't the kind of movie where you should underplay things. A hammier actor, like a Danny Houston, was needed here, I think. Bloodshot fares best in the first hour when the premise is being set up, with any and all interesting choices made here, including novel use of the Talking Heads track Psycho Killer. Still, David S.F. Wilson doesn't really seem to have much of a distinctive style going on, as the movie can't help but feel assembly line and rushed to a certain degree, especially in the more clunky second half. While Bloodshot is perfectly watchable, it never feels like anything more than a B-movie and seems unlikely to spawn another big franchise for Diesel. Suffice to say, not only will it not make people forget Fast and Furious, but it won't even make people forget about XXX or Riddick. It's fine, but really nothing more than that. I give this one 5 on 10. Until next time, Chris Bumbray for JOBLO.com.